the internet. Donna here. As you can see, I have my teeth out. So, what that means is I am getting ready to do my impressions. I'm still learning to speak without my teeth and it's horrible. I'm getting ready to do my impressions with the kit that I got from Joe's Denture Lab, and I'm going to work on the top one first and get that all done, completely done, and then work on the bottom. So I have two of these trays here for uppers. One of them is very small and one of them is the correct size. This one is the number 5. This is one that fits inside my face. Like that. One thing that I will say is it's really tempting to use the smaller one on the bottom too. I ended up going with the bigger one for the bottom. But keep in mind when you do this that you want your impression tray to not touch the sides of your ridges. You don't want them to touch up in here because that's not a good impression. You end up with a flat side on your denture from the side of the impression, and chances are Jamie will just send it right back to you anyway. So don't do that. Make sure that you have plenty of wiggle room in your impression tray. Whereas with the smaller one, now I'm going to have to sterilize it again before I send it back. But with the smaller one, and this is tempting to use, it really is, because it fits comfortably, but this is not the point of these. This is not supposed to fit comfortably. It's supposed to give room so that your impression is taken well, okay? So if I put this one in, I have no wiggle room over here. See, it touches the sides here and here, and that's not what we want. And the upper, the smaller upper, see, it does the same thing. It touches here and here. So these are not the ones I want to use. Numbers 11 and 14 are too small. So I'm going to be using number 5 and, or excuse me, number 4 and 5. 4 and 5. Did I just say it wasn't good? 11 and 14, not good. 4 and 5, good. Okay, plenty of room. And plenty of room up here. Okay, so that's what's up with that. So it's off to the kitchen to, well, no, I'll bring the stuff back here. All right, so as you can see here, I have everything that I need. Let me just zoom in. I have some water, my alignment, blah, a clean, if somewhat still damp, mixing bowl, a tablespoon, and a teaspoon. So we're going to start with the mixing bowl here.
Okay, so I messed up on that first batch. So here we've got the mixing bowl, and we're going to start off with 3 tablespoons of water. 1, 2, 3. And dump the rest of the alignment in there. And go ahead and start spatulating it, mixing that up, trying to get that nice putty consistency. And right now I can tell you that this is a little dry. We want cookie dough, not pie crust. So we're going to double up on the water, almost. And at this point I've done this a couple of times, so I can tell you that this is looking a little thick. And you have to work fast. You have 1 minute and 45 seconds before this stuff starts setting up. And it's important to get all the lumps out of it because you want a nice, smooth material for your impression, otherwise it'll hold on to air bubbles. So I'm scraping it along the side of the bowl as I'm mixing it up to try and get rid of those lumps. And we'll go ahead and put it in the tray. And I'm very sorry that I didn't get all of that bit on camera like I should have. There it goes. Even it out a little bit so that I'm not eating a bunch of it. And into the mouth it goes. Okay, and as you can see here, we have a nice clean impression. I'm just going to go ahead and have another good look at that before I take pictures of it to send to Jamie. Make sure that it's good enough to send along in the mail. I want to make sure that it's good before I go to the step where you put stone in it. And of course, Jamie gave it the okay. And these are the pictures that I sent to Jamie. There's the top view of the upper impression. Here is a view from the rear of the upper impression. So you're looking down into towards the front gum. And this is the bottom of the impression tray. You can see where it leaked over a little bit onto my soft palette. Okay, y'all, I had to voice over this one because mixing up this stuff sounds like mouth noises, and it's really wet and weird sounding, and it bothered me when I went back and listened to it. So here we are mixing up the stuff for the bottom, the impression material. So we're going to start off with 3 tablespoons of malignant and 2 tablespoons of water, because 2 tablespoons is a good place to start. Now, I didn't want to use all of the alignment in the bag because it's a lot, and the lower impression tray is smaller and will hold less material than the upper one did. Here we go with our water. There's 1, 2. This is a good starting point. Ultimately, I needed more water because it was looking a little dry. We're looking for cookie dough and not pie crust. Anybody who bakes will understand what that means. Think mud pie, not dirt clot. And here I'm just kind of eyeballing out another tablespoon and a half. And this actually looks good. This is a good start for this. And this is the part where it made all kinds of weird noise, and so I was like, you know what, I need to do a voiceover for that because that is gross. Not trying to ear rape any of my headset watchers. I know what that's like. I am a headset watcher. So as you can see, we've got a nice gooey consistency on this. It's a little looser than silly putty, but that's fine. Go ahead and put that in the tray. Man, I thought I had that in frame. And into the mouth it goes. Yeah, there we go. And into the mouth. And here are the pictures that I sent to Jamie. This is a top view of the lower impression. This is another top view, sort of off to the back a little bit. And this is a view of the bottom of the tray. Okay, as you can see, I've got my choppers back in for now. I'm going to need to take them back out when I do my wax bite. But right now, I have a completed upper and a completed lower impression. So what I'm going to do next is mix up the stone and pour it into the impressions that I've made as per Jamie's instructions. And we're going to let that sit and harden up for 25 minutes after it's done, because that's how long Jamie said to leave it sit.
Okay, so in our bowl, we're gonna empty one of the bags of stone, and we are going to mix water with it until it is a thick putty consistency, so drywall mud, I imagine. Put that aside. Okay, let's get her going. And I can tell you right now, it's starting to look like I've added too much water. If I find that that's true, I will simply add a little more stone, and we will be back in business. Right now I have a thin putty consistency. I'm trying to break up all of these little blops of powder in here. Mix them in. This stuff doesn't want to behave as well as the impression material did. I can tell you right now I'm gonna need some more stone. Good thing there are 3 bags of it here in case I screw up. Just add a little more. Come on, a little more than that. There we go. We'll mix that in. We still don't have thick putty. I think I'm just going to do both impressions at the same time. We'll go ahead and dump the rest of this in. See, when you make mistakes, you need to know how to improvise just a little bit. And I can tell you right now that that's not going to be wet enough. So I'm going to put in just a little more water. And we're looking for biscuit dough. Now, we want it to be nice and thick, but we want it to be thin enough where if there are air bubbles in the mixture, we can tap it on the table and they'll rise to the top. So this is still a little thick. Because clearly, well, maybe not. Air bubbles come to the top. Oh, it's like oobleck. Look, you push on it, but then look, then it'll separate. How funny. Okay, well, that's 2 impressions worth, so good. Very, very good. Just make sure that that's nice and well mixed. Get some of the air bubbles out of it before I put it into the impressions. Okay, now for the fun bit. We're going to scoop this into the impressions. So we'll go ahead and get some of this out of here. Some of our stone oobleck. And since it wants to turn runny when you tap it, go ahead and tap it. And I kind of want to make sure that this is even with the top, that some of it is on the back. Okay. I'll tap that a bit. Set that aside. And then we'll put some in here. Wow, this is like 8 impressions worth now that I'm looking at it. Shaky camera. Sorry. Now, I did send a picture of this one to Jamie, but I haven't heard back from him yet. But it won't kill me to put the stone in it, and if it's bad, I'll just clean out the whole tray and start again. So I have just enough alignment material to do one more lower. Get that extra off of there, and off of there, and off of there, and set this one aside. Now, those need 25 minutes to set up, and I'm going to give it to them, but I am also going to cover them with a paper towel per the instructions while they set up.
These are, well, this is the picture of the stone over the impressions that I sent to Jamie, and he gave it the okay. Now this is the wax bite. Unfortunately, I was unable to get video of doing the wax bite, but what I did is I took 2 sheets of the wax that came in the kit and got them wet under, well, not wet, but warm under running hot water. I rolled them up into like a fruit roll-up type deal and bit into them and waited until the wax had cooled before I let up my bite. Now, when I sent these pictures to Jamie, he said that that was absolutely right, what I did, and that he wished that all of them looked like that. So if you're going to order from J.O.'s Denture Lab, take note of this wax bite, because this is what it should look like when you're done, only with clearly impressions of your own bite. Unfortunately, I'm not able to record any more video to go along with this because of time constraints, but I will go ahead and end the video here. This is all that I have for you today. I will be back with another video tomorrow. Until then, be good to each other, keep smiling, and keep being awesome.